Good morning. I have my pre-workout already made and I am getting ready for the gym if you haven't already noticed. And it is going to be arm day because everything has been set back a day because yesterday was a little bit more busy than I had intended. But, goal responsibilities outside of the fitness ones take precedent, obviously. Now, like I said, it's going to be arm day and we're going to go to the fitness center for that. And has anyone else noticed that? Is anyone else having problems with YouTube and uploading at all? Because it seems like it's been progressively getting slower to upload to YouTube. And I understand it's like they're trying to process a lot of videos at once potentially. And I'm not expecting a 30-minute video to upload within 2 minutes. I'm not that dumb. But it feels like, because I even compress my videos to make the time a little bit shorter for YouTube to upload. And even still, it feels like it takes absolutely way too long to upload. Even when I try to upload a short, it can take up to 20 minutes, and it's only a clip of like 4 videos normally, except for the cooking one I did the other day. But that's also why there's been some delays in some videos, is because I don't have every hour of the day to try to upload. I have to keep things on schedule, and when things are broken up, if you want to see me get actually frustrated and annoyed, see my schedule getting taken off schedule. That's the one thing that really gets under my skin, outside of losing in video games and getting stuck in Philly traffic. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I have a workout to get ready for. We're going to drink this pre-workout, and I'm going to still record my videos while at the fitness center. We're going to come back. We're going to shower real quick and get ready for work, because it's going to be a very, very busy day, and looking for other things in the meantime, if you catch my drift, which you probably don't, or maybe you do. But anyway, let's get this ball rolling, and hopefully nothing else today screws with the cadence of what my schedule is supposed to be. One reason outside of my day-to-day life this video is so late is because I was trying to figure out what to talk about during my workout session, because, I don't feel like just saying the workouts over and over and over again. I think you guys might find it boring, and quite frankly, I find that boring too. So I decided I'm just gonna, this time, talk about anime or manga or tokusatsu. All of them intermingle in some way or another. When it comes to anime and manga, it took me a while to find the ones that actually caught my attention, because I'm not a huge anime fan or a manga fan. I'm more a very specific fan of very specific anime or manga. For example, Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime of all time. It's the one that I can go back to and watch over and over and over again. It's, quite frankly, one of my favorite shows, period. I even love the Fist of the North Star movie. I never watched the show because I heard it wasn't as violent, which I think wasn't as in line with the manga, because if you ever read the manga is pretty violent. That and the Berserk manga are two of the best violent mangas of all time. I love Berserk. Berserk is one of the mangas that I get into, and I just love Berserk. Dude who was just way too mad to die and carries a big sword to massacre demons. I think that is awesome. And I still say that, unfortunately, or not unfortunately because it's a great game, but the best Berserk game we ever got was Final Fantasy VII. Not a bad thing, because that's a great game, but there has never been like a truly great Berserk game outside of games that just take inspiration from Berserk. They did have a great Fist of the North Star game. It plays a lot like those Yakuza games, and I love the Yakuza series, by the way. I have way too many hours in all the Yakuza games combined. So if you want a very, very solid Fist of the North Star game, definitely get the one that's on PS4. Like I said, it plays a lot like a Yakuza game does. And you get the "you're already dead" line in it too. I turn on the game dubbed in English, and that line It's still cool to hear, but it's not as cool as when you hear it in Japanese. And I did mention tokusatsu a little bit. And tokusatsu, that's, your Power Rangers or Super Sentais, Kamen Riders, Ultramans, Godzillas, all that stuff. That is your tokusatsu, like special effects stuffs and things like that. And yes, Godzilla falls under that too. Did I say Godzilla already? But Godzilla is one of my favorite movie series of all time. So obviously, I'm a huge fan of all things kaiju, tokusatsu. And the reason I love tokusatsu as much as I do is because it is basically like a live action anime. Budget be absolutely damned. They will go out of their way to make sure you are watching an anime with people in it, and it is always awesome. And quite frankly, I think the lower the budget, the better, because it just looks even more insane. And I still think it is awesome. One of my favorite tokusatsus of all time is the Spider-Man tokusatsu. And if it wasn't for that, the Power Rangers would not have a giant mech, because Spider-Man had a giant mech before even Super Sentai did. Before it was called Super Sentai, it was just called Sentai. But now, like I say now as it was recently, but about 10 or so years ago, they made the other Sentais, the ones that didn't have the giant mechs, official Super Sentais, because the Super was added in because they had the giant robots. It used to just be called Sentai. And yes, this is my nerdy trivia for you today. And obviously another anime that I love is the Starship Troopers anime adaptation. Now, it's not a one-for-one adaptation of the novel. It's about as accurate as the movie is, where I say the things that happen in the movie do happen in the book, but they kind of happen under a different, I guess, context, to put it lightly. And the anime is similar in that way, where things that happen in there's more things that actually happen in the anime that happen in the book. Like there's a bar fight in the book and there's a bar fight in the anime, but there's no bar fight in the movie. There is a brawl between the recruits when they're on their ship, but there's no like on Earth bar fight in the movie. And also the anime has the powered armor, the ape suits. They look very Gundam-like, but Gundam was hugely inspired by Starship Troopers, so they're allowed to have that be kind of the model. And they do kind of look like steel gorillas in the anime. You haven't seen that, check it out. Someone uploaded it to YouTube. And back after our awesome arm pump today, if you haven't noticed. Sick pump. But anyway, right now I'm listening to Mindless Self-Indulgence. Great band. They're one of those other bands similar to Ice Nine Kills where they do have a high level of appreciation, but I still think they are relatively underrated. But anyway, I gotta eat an apple real quick because my straight up fast is over, so I can get some nutrients. Then I'm gonna make my protein drink and shower as quickly as possible. Should be fun. Showering quickly is not an issue for me. I do it all the time. But I gotta get ready for work and get this day rolling. I'll catch you guys at the end of it. I gotta think of something fun that I want to talk about tonight. Should I talk about video games again? Maybe I will. Or should I talk about... Do I want to do a full review of Poultrygeist? Not today, but one day. So, might be video games tonight. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. So now I am actually home from work. And like I said, I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about, but I think I want to talk about video games, or I said I wanted to talk about video games. More specifically, I want to talk about independent video games again, because I think this is the year where independent video games are going to be on an upswing. I mean, we had Clair Obscur, we have Labyrinth of the Demon King, and right now we have also Tainted Grail, and we also have The Precinct, which is a game that I'm very much excited to play. Still finishing up other backlog games first, though, because that is my rule. Unless I find a copy of Clair Obscur, then everything gets deleted from my hard drive, and then I'm playing Clair Obscur until I get 100% in that. But this is the year of independent games. This is where they have to put their foot down and let everyone know, hey, AAA games, every now and again you get something right. But even when you get something right, you don't put the game on the disc, and you frustrate a lot of your fans. So, independent games or non-AAA games, because something as big and as grand as Claire Expedition 33, that's not so independent given its budget. I mean, it's not a huge budget, but given its pedigree, I wouldn't consider it true independent. True independence, like something like Hollow Knight or Undertale, things like that, because there is still a solid studio behind it. But it's still not a AAA game as a whole. It's still more AA. There's AA and AAA games, like Batteries. And I remember when they were trying to make this one game a quadruple A game, and everyone said, well, we played it, and there's nothing quadruple about this. So, and the other big thing, I think the big reason why a lot of people are getting into more independent non-AAA games now is because of the price. Like, they're normally not the full price, especially since a lot of these companies now have the nerve, the absolute gall to start charging $80. $80. Look, I'm well aware of the tariffs. I'm well aware of inflation, but come on, there has to be a stopping point of what you're willing to charge. And like everyone's saying about GTA 5, because no matter what that costs, that's going to sell wildly. It's GTA 6, sorry, because it's GT freaking A. And what I think of, because they can charge almost whatever they want in. Like that, because it's setting a bad example. It's setting a bad example because the game does look gorgeous, and I guarantee it is still going to be a fantastic game. But as soon as they charge anything past $70 for that, Nintendo already opened the floodgates. It sucks because I love Nintendo, but them making games $80, it was what irritates me is that what set the standard for games being $70 was a freaking one of those yearly NBA games too. That's what opened the floodgates, and everything just followed suit. And no one seemed to be fighting against it either. Everything that was AAA after that, almost all of it, almost everything was $70. Hardly anyone except for Astrobot was a reasonable accident price, because we haven't even passed a generation yet, and they're already saying we're jacking up the price even more. I think that's why this has to be the year independent and more non-AAA games need to put their foot down. They need to charge less. I mean, they already are, but them charging less and still offering quality, even if some of them have jank, even if some of them don't look glorious. They're still providing what people want in a game. And that's ultimately what everyone's asking for. And that's fun, quality gaming. Labyrinth of the Demon King. It's a survival horror game that is actually creepy. Tainted Grail is the unofficial sequel to Oblivion or Skyrim. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is giving everyone who loves turn-based RPGs exactly what they wanted. And something that the Precinct gives me what I want. It's a weird, randomly niche RPG about you playing as a cop, and you actually have to follow the law. Obviously not to the absolute T with where it's 100% realistic, because it is still a video game, so liberties have to be taken. But those little niche things that most bigger budget games don't provide, the independent space is filling up. And that's why I love independent movies, is because they will give you a little bit of what you're looking for without even realizing it. And of course, when it comes to movies and video games, stuff like that, you get a bigger budget, so that way you can fulfill a lot of the more grand stuff. But even for something like Claire Expedition 33, it's such a grand story, and it doesn't even cost $60. It doesn't even cost $60. It doesn't even cost $60. I can't stress it enough. It doesn't even cost $60. Seriously, that needed to end the conversation of games needing to cost $80. That should have slammed that door hard, because it just proves you don't need big, huge budgets to get a game out. Does anyone remember during the PS3 360 era, or even a little bit during the PS2. Like, there were so many quality games coming out that you couldn't keep up. Now it's like there's so many games coming out, but all of it feels like fluff. So when something like Clear Expedition 33 comes out, it's like mind blowing. It's a game where it's like everyone who plays it loves it, and it's scratching that itch of the turn-based RPG. And like there was a great turn-based RPG. I haven't played it yet, but I do want to check it out. Metaphor ReFantazio. That's another example of a great turn-based RPG. Like hopefully turn-based starts making a comeback, even though I do love action RPGs. But it's giving people something that they've been wanting for so long. Because think of how many, and like this is kind of the one thing I kind of like, why I'm kind of annoyed with a lot of action RPGs is a lot of them just follow the Dark Souls formula. It's a good combat system and it is a fun game style, but it's like every action RPG just wants to be another Dark Souls. So that's why I enjoyed Final Fantasy XVI's gameplay, because at least that was more Devil May Cry and less Dark Souls. There's nothing wrong with Dark Souls, it's not really my thing, but when it was like when every action RPG is just using the Dark Souls style of gameplay, like there just needs to change. Because I remember I heard about this one game, Fallen Feathers, and I thought it looked pretty, and I read a little bit about it. I was like, oh, this sounds pretty cool. And then I saw it was a freaking Souls inspired game. Obviously there's that niche for people. There's a reason why they sell so well. There's a reason why everyone's blatantly copying that formula, but we need more variety in action RPGs too, and I think the independent space is a great way to do that. A lot of them also become roguelikes. I like roguelikes a lot, or roguelites. Hardly of them are actually like the game Rogue, if you've ever actually played it. I never played it, but I watched YouTube videos of how it is actually meant to be played. Dead Cells is a great game, but I think we need a good, solid action RPG by an independent studio that has more the Devil May Cry style or Ninja Gaiden style of combat, or God of War style, like the old God of War, not the new one, even though the new God of War is fine. Because like that bonkers, Dragon's Dogma kind of had it, and Dragon's Dogma 2. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning, ooh, that had a great combat system. But I'm here to talk about independent games, not just like games that I would prefer they would try to model themselves after. Labyrinth of the Demon King looks so unbelievably cool. It offends me that they didn't release like a fun collector's edition physical copy that's modeled after like a PS1 case. If Limited Run or some studio were to release that, you have no idea how long that's not going to stay on your shelves. I'd buy one, and I don't even like collector's editions that much. Except for my copy of Poultrygeist. But then again, Poultrygeist is a magnificent piece of art, so I couldn't not get the collector's edition of that. And then so is Labyrinth of the Demon King, apparently. So I would probably get that collector's edition. I wish I would have gotten the Clear Expedition 33 collector's edition, but that was one of those games where I didn't even know existed until after it already came out. But like when I say these independent games are selling like hotcakes, I still can't find a physical copy of it anywhere. I might have, but I'm not going to say where, because there wasn't one taking it. But it's sold out almost immediately everywhere. And like, because I remember I went to GameStop asking if they had a copy, and the gentleman said, "I wish I pre-ordered the collector's edition if I had known." Like I said, I didn't know the game existed until the Happy Console Gamer put up his video about his review for Clear Expedition 33. And as soon as I saw a little bit of those clips, I was like, I need to play this game immediately. This game looks like a spectacular masterpiece, and I will actually full send get back into video gaming again just to play that. I mean, I'm already getting back into playing things like the Precinct. And another cool physical copy I just got was the Cowboy collection for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm going to start collecting those games too, because I love Ninja Turtles, but that's a topic for another day. Is that new one that came out, Splintered Dimensions or whatever it's called? Is that technically independent? Maybe, maybe not. But I think this is the year of independent video games. Independent art in general. It's going to put its foot down, I know that. But anyway, I got to start getting ready for bed. It's getting kind of late, and I still got to do my Duolingo. Anyways, y'all have a good night.